have an agency that actually do all of the work for us on Space, and they always say like you've got to keep it a bit short now, and I'm just like, oh, I start chatting, there's so many more questions for you. But yeah, what I was going to say was, is there a podcast or a book that you have read or reading, like listened to or whatever, that you recommend?
There's probably a couple of things I would say. To let you in behind the curtain, it's probably a little bit why my brain works.
Like that saying.
Well, yeah, probably why my brain works is I'm a huge fan of Disney, and I say Disney in the sense of them as a business and them as what they do in creativity wise, not necessarily Snow White and everything else. But I was very fortunate as a kid to be able to go to Disneyland quite a bit, and experiencing Disney as a place is incredible. It's the most creative place I think I've ever been, from the smallest details. You're at a park and there's a bus ticket stuck to the side of a kind of luggage tag or whatever it might be, that's then got a code that's then aligns to something that's on a ride, or there's some like really small intricate details, and that's all made by a team of people who work for Disney called the Imagineers, and there's an amazing documentary on Disney Plus, which is all about them as a team, and the kind of story from them being when it first started to where they are now. And they are like a group of 20 creative people that are the mind behind everything that's done. So not from a sort of a film point of view, but then when you get into physical spaces, whether that's stores, whether that's in the parks, whatever that might be, they're the ones who come up with all of these amazing intricate ideas, and that discovery that you go on as a kid or as an adult or whatever it might be, hiding little Mickey Mouses left, right and centre within stuff that you wouldn't necessarily see the first time. They're the people that sit behind it, and it's an amazing watch for any creative, I think. From a podcast point of view, I probably don't listen to too many creative podcasts. Audio books I've listened to, I spend a lot of time in the car. Again, Ride of a Lifetime, which is by Bob Iger, who is I don't know if he still was the CEO at Disney, is one of them. I can't remember the book's name, but there is, I think it's called Creativity Inc., which is the guy who founded Pixar. So again, that Disney trend that goes in it. And just hearing how they tackle creativity in a completely different way, and something that they have to come up with something completely new. And some of the ideas, I mean, you watch Disney film, they're mental. Some of them, you kind of go, where's this come from? So to hear the creativity and thinking behind it is super interesting. So yeah, I'd probably say them two as books and Imagineering.
Imagineers, I like that.
They're a really cool bunch of people. So that'd probably be my dream job if it ever comes up to go and work for them. But it's
I'll let them know.
Yeah.
One last question for you. What's a book or a podcast you have read or are reading that you'd really recommend?
Oh, okay. So I'm currently reading, and I read a page every day, of the book called The Daily Stoic. So it's an interesting concept. It's every day there's one page, and every month there's a new topic. And it's just all about kind of like Stoic mindset. So how to, I don't know if it's like a world that you're kind of familiar with.
No, I'm definitely Googling it.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's just one page every day. I also, read alongside that, like other books, and stay up to date with lots of articles. But it's a really good, I either try and do it first thing in the morning or last thing at night, and it's a really good way to set your tone for the day. There's like a little hidden message in each page, almost like a meditation, which is really lovely, and it's something to kind of reflect on or carry through each of your days with you. So I would recommend that to everyone.
Very mindful.
Very mindful, yeah.
Brilliant, amazing.
No, it's for work, and it's so basic, but it took me ages to find. I think it's by a company called Odeer, and 2-page spread. There's to-do list. There's the sort of urgent, not urgent, important square at the bottom. There's a eat the frog task, so what you've been putting off for ages and need to do. And then the other page is just notes and then like a little doodles section. So I try and do that every morning, my key tasks and stuff like that. And then my notes page for like meetings, and then the next day I'm just, what did I write there? Same thing. That really helps.
Odeer.
Odeer, I think. Yeah, but like deer as in animal.
Okay, yeah. Okay, wicked. I'll Google
Yeah.
What is a podcast or a book that you have listened to that's really helped you in your mindset and that you would recommend other people listen to?
I have read a book recently where it's called Good Vibes. I think Good Vibes, Good something else, something like that. I read that, quite a while ago now, but I often highlight certain quotes and things in there, and I keep it by my bed, and I flick through it time to time. It's just about being your authentic self. It's about believing you can do things and, shutting out any negativity or, blocking out what people may potentially think of you and just sticking to your guns, believe in yourself, and that's it. And I think that's what juniors need to do more, to just believe in themselves. It's very easy to become deflated, and when you're constantly told the same thing, you don't have a skill set, you're not cut out for this. You've got people changing career paths because of that. So I think, do things that make you feel good, whether it is books and podcasts or whatever it is, just do things that make you feel good and stick to it. Don't give up, you guys will get there.
Good Vibes. I mean, you would read that book, wouldn't you? Like,
Yes.
I've
Good
never even
vibes
heard of it.
go away.
Yeah. I've never even heard of the book before, but if I was just to make up, Easky's read this book, like just to guess the title, it'd be like Good Vibes.
Yeah,
I
Good
think I
Vibes,
would
that's
go
it.
with that,
Yeah.
Is there a book you're reading, a podcast you're listening to that you just think like, this is brilliant and it's like, I want to share it?
So many books. Eyes of the Skin is what I'm reading at the moment.
Eyes of the Skin.
Eyes of the Skin.
Okay.
It was a recommendation. I am slowly reading it because I have to kind of stop and kind of Google a lot of things because there's a lot of references to other kind of theories that I don't understand. But it's challenging me and I love it. And it's eye-opening for senses. It's all about how our visual sense is the main sense that everyone relies on and kind of goes to. And it's about opening yourself to other senses and kind of, exploring that. So yeah, really recommend that one. Podcast, I'm listening to, it's kind of, I forget his name, something Rubin. He's having a conversation with, I have to get the name for you, and then you could put it on the podcast. It's about a creative journey and how you think. And he had a conversation with Es Devlin, who did The Sphere. Do you know The Sphere? It's like it's a big installation in Vegas where it's completely circular and there's no like straight lines. Anyway, she's a very, very interesting person. And that's the podcast I'm listening to, but I have to get the name for you.
Fine.
Something Rubin, I think his name is. But yeah, those are the things I
go with Rubin.
recommend.
Eyes of the Skin. Okay,
Yes.
Parker, can I just ask about your book?
Yes.
That you launched?
Yeah.
In an idea?
The Idea in You.
The Idea in You, yeah.
Yeah, published 10 years ago actually now, 2015. It was published by Penguin around the world, was a bestseller. I mean, I guess I wrote that book with my friend Martin Amor because we'd learned a lot about how to have ideas, and that's when I was working as a consultant. And I guess the genesis behind the book is a little bit like behind Until, which is like enabling people to thrive and build their own thing. And so that book effectively distilled everything that we learned working with the biggest companies in the world about how you find an idea and then get it going, right? So it's not the end-to-end business Bible, right? But it's not going to tell you how to raise massive investment, but it will tell you how to spot an idea you're passionate about and really care about, and how to take it to market. And effectively, trying to get people to do their own thing, which is what Until is as well.
Yeah, and if I was to write a book, what would be like? What 3 things would you tell me to do?
Well, I guess the why behind anything is really important, right? And so we had a really powerful why behind writing that book because we wanted to share that knowledge because we think actually there's nothing, you will know this, right? There's nothing quite like with your podcast, your business, there's nothing quite like putting something out into the world that you've made. It's fantastic. And so we wanted people to experience that. And so I'd go, well, you kind of know what your why is a little bit because you're doing this podcast, right? And so I think the answer to your book is probably something probably inside this somewhere.
No, there definitely would be. That's interesting. I want you just to tell the guests a little bit about your book.
A year ago, we were speaking at South by Southwest, and we presented on this topic the last several years. And I mean, we're on this whole road show speaking because awareness is important. And so trying to get that awareness out there. And a publisher was in the audience, and she came up and she asked us to write the book. And in all honesty, I really thought I was going to get through my career without ever having to write a book. Truly, Despina and I think, are the two that are like, let's make a bond that we're never going to write a book. And I broke that bond. Sorry, Despina. But she asked us if we would do it. And unfortunately, a colleague of mine was there with me and was like, sure, we'll do it. And the reason we didn't want to write a book is because I learn something new every day. I really, truly do. And, but we realized that we had so much information, it was important to get it out there. And so we had to get really clever in the book. Like we put, links to a lot of the research. So if people want to go deeper, they can. But we kind of say high level in the book on some of that. And we have a whole list of considerations that we have created, but it's a work in progress. You know, we're still learning. We're still digging into acoustics more, and we're still doing research initiatives that are helping us define this. And so the problem with the list is the second you put it out, all of a sudden, if you want to change it, you kind of can't. So we put a QR code in the book to the list, so that if you were to call me tomorrow, Guy, and say, oh my God, Kay, I just read this amazing report about acoustics, and we really should be thinking like this way and doing this, I can say, oh, that's amazing. I can update our list in real time. And we wrote it also. We had a big conversation. There is a tremendous amount of research and intellectual property that we put in this book. And there are a lot of people that are like, why are you giving that away to all of our competitors? But my fellow frenemies, other companies, are not my true competitors. Our competitors today are design firms that aren't doing it well and are neurowashing and are doing things and making companies realize or think there's no there. Right. And we've had multiple companies call us and say, hey, we had this other company. We know about neurodiversity. We had this other company try to help us. And just really nothing came out of it. And then we heard you speak and we're like, oh my God, right? Like there is something there that we need to dig into. And so I'd rather give it away and have everybody doing it well than doing a disservice. And our real competitors are not, again, design firms. It's people today thinking that they can use generative AI to create a space without designers, because not thinking that all we do is based on what we think is cool and what we think is trending. Hate that word too. It's not. There is a real science to what we do. Every decision that I make for a reason, because I want to get a behavior, or I want to support a work style, or I want to accommodate a need in that space. This is not random. And so helping people understand that and the value of this and really doing it well is really important today.
It's amazing. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, thank you for coming on to Space by Stansons. And yeah, I'm very passionate about how the things we live with and the spaces we inhabit do change how we think and feel and behave. And everything you said, just music to my ears. And so...
Well, Guy, I'll make you a promise, right? So next time I'm in London, we'll get together and I'll let you choose whether we go to a buzzy, like coffee shop in the middle of downtown London, or whether we go to something secluded and off the beaten trail or whatever. You can choose where we're going to go have our coffee, and then we can talk for hours and hours and hours.
And then whenever I ask someone out for coffee, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to sort of like assess their personality based on the place that they choose. Well, thank you, Kay. You brought so much insights into wayfinding, into that whole like technology. That was absolutely fantastic, neurodiverse, but just in two ways, a hyper and a hypersensitivity. There was loads of lessons there in that last 40 minutes, absolute gold. So I'm going to thank you very warmly and say, if you enjoyed the conversation, please do review, like the show. It does help us bring on fabulous guests like Kay, and we're very grateful to all the support. So thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. And I should say the name of the book, because I never said that: Designing Neuroinclusive Workplaces, which is a horrible name because it's about so much more. But thank you for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
I think that's an amazing ending note, Kay. Thank you.